Living with EDS and scapular ringing can be challenging. Let's dive into why these issues are linked and what you can do to manage them. In this video, I'll be going over what shoulder joints look like, what happens when shoulder subluxation takes place, what scapular ringing looks like, what the culprit for scapular ringing is, what exercises to do to connect the dots and not have shoulder subluxation. And finally, at the end, I'll give you first step towards correcting this issue. So let's begin. So this is your shoulder joint. This is your shoulder blade. That's your arm bone. This is your collarbone. So your shoulder blade provides the socket to the ball. So it's a ball and socket joint. And your collarbone actually is part of that joint itself. It's good to know what that looks like. What happens when your shoulder subluxation takes place is typically sometimes the shoulder blade slides down, sometimes the ball within the socket moves around too much, sometimes your collarbone is impacted, impacting this joint. Bottom line here is the joint becomes red and flares up. That's what shoulder subluxation is. Shoulder subluxation and shoulder dislocations are not the same. Dislocation is going much further beyond that subluxation. What is scapular ringing? Scapular ringing is when your shoulder blades lift off your body. The ringing happens as a result of your shoulder blade stabilizers not doing their job. So the main culprit that I see is bad breathing, not breathing biologically. It's shadow breathing. The diaphragms, the abdominal diaphragm, pelvic diaphragm, they don't line up and they're not stacked on the top of each other. So you're either in this position, you're in sticking your chest out, military position. Bottom line is you're breathing, but you're not really having this cylinder and this barrel going on here. So then what ends up happening is the muscles that keep your shoulder blades on your rib cage are not staying there. One of the good ones that I deal with is what's referred to as serratus anterior. Serratus anterior, when it's not working, lifts the shoulder blade up. There is more to that, but that's a pretty serious one. You also use it with your breathing. It goes from the side of your body, gets connected. So this is the back of you. It goes on the body side and gets connected to the side of your shoulder blade closest to your spine. And when it's not functioning properly, it can lift that shoulder blade off your rib cage. That's what winging of the scapula is. In the process of doing it, over time, the positioning of your mid-back between the two shoulder blades change too. So now we have things feeding each other. It's a poor posture issues. The exercises for the shoulder subluxations and shoulder issues, they have to be, in my opinion, developmental exercises. Developmental exercises are what we all did as babies. We all went from helpless infant stage to the running toddler stage without any coaching, any guidance whatsoever. So what was happening there is it's very light on the joints. It's very soft on the body and yet highly effective. Think about it. No gyms, no weights, no bands, no guidance, and yet we all went from not being able to do anything to then running around and the parents chasing after us. So you gotta understand that not every exercise has to be difficult. They have to be effective and make sense to our bodies. What allows the dots to connect to each other is that the progression of movement that we all have as we go from one stage of development to the next stage of development. When it comes to the shoulder joint, there are a lot of shoulder joint exercises that I have done in the past. We'll make sure at the end of this video we put in a couple of them so you guys get to see, but that's the type of exercises that I want to bring to your attention. The first step towards correcting the issue is understanding what your wrong tendencies are. If you don't know what you're doing wrong, you won't know to stop yourself short of committing the crime, and you won't know what to replace it with. That means that we are all obligated to understand more about our bodies. It's like driving a car. You drive your car, you can drive your car in your town, in a different state or a different country, because you know how to drive your car. You understand the principles of driving. You have exhibited, you know how to drive. But do you know how to stabilize your body? Chances are no. It's not a hypermobile thing. It's a human being thing. A lot of us are not investing in understanding these things, and obviously we injure ourselves. The difference between the bendy and the normies is that the bendies are more motivated to learn, because when injuries happen, it's a little bit more painful. I hope this made sense to you. I hope you know I love you and I care about you, and I want you to do what is best for you. If you have any questions, make sure you use one of the methods of contact in the description box to contact me. Make sure you share this with other friends, and until next time, take care.